Just waiting for a couple things, guys, and then we'll get started. All right, here we are. Let's do this. Welcome to Draft Week, everybody. It is officially NFL Draft this week. I am your host, Juan Rodriguez. As always, people call me JR, Junior, good old JR, whatever fits. It's all the same to me. As I mentioned, welcome to Draft Week. I hope everybody had fun this season. I hope everybody had good times. I hope everybody enjoyed every pick, or at least had some interest in every pick. I had a lot of fun doing it. I want to thank everybody that did join me for this upcoming draft season. Hopefully everybody had fun with it as well. Hopefully my guest had fun as well. It was, like I said, it was just a lot of fun. And, I can't believe it's finally over. Season 2 is in the books after today. We do have two more specials, actually. Pretty soon, it's going to be one final mock draft for everybody. I'm going to give out my final mock draft for the teams and everything. And then I believe Thursday morning, my brother will be joining me here in Nevada to make our final selections for the Raiders. And like I said, I'm excited about it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I'm here to do the final one, and then we will see you all soon, and then we will recap Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I am excited. Let's get to this with last pick of the first round, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we all know how it went down. These are the defending Super Bowl champion Buccaneers. They won the Super Bowl last year. That's why they're picking 32. And that season was very hard. We kind of had a feeling Tampa Bay was going to look good. We just didn't think it was going to be that fast. But here it is. Tampa Bay, Super Bowl champions for the second time in their franchise history. And it was a weird from the get-go. Tom Brady leaves New England. He comes to Tampa Bay, and not that little while longer, it just seemed like everybody else followed suit. Gronkowski actually came out of retirement, got traded to the Buccaneers because New England still held his football rights, but they traded him away to Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown eventually came along. Ndamukong Suh came along. It was just a weird year, and everything just worked out perfectly for Tampa Bay. So let's recap their draft class from last year while we talk about their regular season. So pick 13, Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle out of Iowa. He was the best pass blocker and best offensive lineman as far as rookie goes, according to Pro Football Focus. He was number 1 out of all the offensive rookie tackles. So it's pretty good. What people don't remember, he actually moved up a spot. Tampa Bay moved up one spot to get him, because I guess there was rumblings of San Francisco possibly taking him and so many others. And it looks like Tampa Bay was set on getting Tristan Wirfs. They even traded spots with San Francisco just to move up one spot. And sure enough, they got him. And he was the best rated rookie tackle in last year's draft class. Antoine Winfield, second round, safety out of Minnesota. He gave us that iconic franchise NFL moment of the peace sign to Tyreek Hill, and it was a good pickup, very good pickup, and it looks like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in that Tampa Bay defense for a very long time. So great pickup there. Keyshawn Vaughn, third round, running back out of Vanderbilt. Look, he was so buried in the depth chart with Fournette, Ronald Jones, and then LaShawn McCoy was there. It was very hard for him to really kind of get some snaps, but I do expect him to get some more playing time next year. Maybe as a third-string running back, but, I mean, he's still going to be there, and with expiring contracts to Jones and to Leonard Fournette, which they re-signed, but only for a one-year deal. It wouldn't surprise me if Keyshawn Vaughn got some more playing time next year. They didn't have a fourth rounder, but they did have a fifth. Tyler Johnson, the wide receiver out of Minnesota. Look, he was so buried in the depth chart. You had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown eventually came in. Scotty Miller did his thing, and then Tyler Johnson did. I mean, it was going to be very hard for him to get snaps, but I assume now with Antonio Brown still kind of being a free agent and not really sure what his football future holds, if everything stays the same, then I think he will eventually get some snaps, meaningful snaps, at least in preseason and training camp. So Khalil Davis, defensive line out of Auburn, mostly just too buried in the depth chart where he was mostly inactive. And he's got some skill. He's got some speed when he did show some playing time. But the problem is everybody's coming back. You know, all the starters on offense and defense are coming back for Tampa Bay. So it's like it's going to be a little bit hard for Khalil Davis to even probably make the roster next year. But if he shows something in training camp and preseason where maybe some vets not showing that, you know, maybe they kind of show the age a little bit, I expect Khalil Davis to make the roster, but that's the only way. A veteran just has to really either injured reserve or just retire. And I don't know what's going to happen from there. And then there are 2 7th-rounders. Chappelle Russell from linebacker out of Temple. He ended up the season with the Jaguars, which is kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird kind of thinking that you got drafted by Tampa Bay, not enough room in that defense. You get cut, you get picked up by Jacksonville, and we're on the worst team in the NFL, and your team that drafted you went on to win the Super Bowl. That feel kind of shitty. that would be pretty shitty feeling. And then Raymond Coleas, running back out of Louisiana, there was no room for him. There was none. Even with before LaShawn even got there, Keyshawn was showing something, and he ended up finishing the year with the Rams. I expect him to make the Rams roster next year again. Same thing with Chappelle Russell. I expect them to make the Jaguars roster next year, and I think they're going to reap the benefits. Both teams are going to reap the benefits out of Tampa Bay's expense, whatever that may mean. So Tampa Bay, kind of a weird year for them. They signed Tom Brady, and then, like I said, a bunch of other free agent came along, and they just had a good year. I mean, they had a really good year. Their only big challenge along the way was the Saints, where they kind of embarrassed them. You know, week 1, they kind of embarrassed them. Opening kickoff week, they kind of embarrassed them there. And then that Sunday nighter where it was really hyped up to where it's like, oh, these two teams could meet for the NFC Championship. And then the Saints just blew them out of the water at Tampa Bay. It was like, oh, man. Is everybody kind of getting on the Tampa Bay train too early? And plus with, you know, the Super Bowl being at Tampa Bay, it kind of seemed like, it's never happened before. And the way it's looking now, it's not looking too good. But they finished 11-5, a very strong case. And they were second in the NFC South, so they had to take the wild card. But they were a very good football team altogether. They were number 3 on offense, just behind Buffalo and Green Bay. They were 8th on defense, so I mean, it showed because they did do a lot of things right, and they just ran through whatever competition other than the New Orleans Saints. And yeah, they did kind of get embarrassed by Kansas City, but they kind of tried to came back and bounce from it, but it wasn't close. And 2 other losses that just came out of nowhere. So really, in the end, there was a lot of questions, but I don't think there was a lot of doubt. It's like, man, if New Orleans, the only team that could probably beat them in the NFC at this point is New Orleans, because it just seems that they ran through everybody in the NFC. So lo and behold, they had to go to 3 straight road games in the playoffs. That was just their luck. In the wild card, they did beat the Washington football team 31-23. I mean, that was a really good game. 31-23, that was a really good game. I think a lot of people expected Washington to kind of falter, but overall, they did control the game, but it was still a good game to see. Then in the divisional round, here come the Saints. It was like, oh no, what's going to happen? I don't think a lot of people had Tampa Bay as the favorite, especially how New Orleans was kind of riding at that time. They were riding really high. Everything seemed to go their way, and it seemed like this is going to be the year that the Saints were going to go to the Super Bowl, not knowing where Drew Brees was going to be at mentally, physically. at the end of the year. Well, we all know that he ended up retiring. And his last game, as a Saint, he got defeated by Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 30-20 in the divisional round. Good game. What a lot of people don't remember about that game is that the Saints were actually winning. And had they converted on that drive before Jared Cook fumbled the football, if they would have probably scored 3 points or even a touchdown at that point, I think the game could have been out of reach to where the Saints would have moved on. But it just wasn't meant to be. The turnovers, just kind of killed New Orleans, and there goes New Orleans again. Just not enough. There wasn't enough, and not enough luck on their side to get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl. So, and then the conference championship, they beat the Packers 31-26. It was all Tampa Bay at this point. Green Bay could do nothing. I know they only lost by 5, but it was just one of those games where it was just like, I don't know if Tampa Bay's got enough, or I don't know if Green Bay's got enough to really keep up with Tampa Bay. So overall, I mean, it seemed like their only foes in the NFC were the Saints, and once they beat them, they felt like they could beat anybody, even the Green Bay Packers, who had home field advantage at Lambeau the whole playoffs, and sure enough, they beat them at Lambeau. And then they went home to go play in the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl was in Tampa Bay, and they beat the Chiefs. Not the most memorable Super Bowl, 31-9. And I know a lot of people are going to come in here, and a lot of people are going to say, well, the Chiefs weren't at full strength. And the Chiefs beat them earlier pretty bad in the regular season. Yeah, but does it matter now? I mean, let's put it this way. Had Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, if they were in there, would have been a different game? Absolutely would have been a different game. Way different. I don't think they still would have put pressure on Mahomes, but I don't think they would have put it as fast as they did with the tackles that they had out there, because it was evident from the get-go that Tampa Bay was going to be all over Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs had no answers. That offense had no answers, and the defense of Kansas City wasn't really that good. It was okay, but it wasn't enough to hold down the third best offense in the NFL. Let's put it that way. Would I think it would have been a different game? Yeah, it probably would have been a little different. Would I still have taken Tampa Bay over Kansas City? I would have. I think I would have taken Tampa Bay over Kansas City in the Super Bowl still. I just thought at that point there was really nothing that could have changed my mind. Yeah, maybe, with the healthier offensive line, maybe the defense can kind of hold off the Buccaneers, maybe, but that's football, and it happens, that's why it's called depth players. I always say this, for depth, you always want people in your depth to hold it down for the starters that are missing, to make it look like nothing changed. And I think that's when you know that you have good depth. And unfortunately, in this case, it wasn't good enough depth for Tampa Bay. Even with the 2-week period, I don't think there was enough time to prepare for that. And I got to give it up to Todd Bowles. He really got after it. He put a good game plan together for his defensive unit, and they stopped the high-flying Eric Bellamy Kansas City offense. I mean, it was good. It was really good. I mean, it was a good mastermind. A lot of wide nines, a lot of stunts, a lot of blitzes, some blitzes. I mean, what are you going to do? It happens. And yeah, it's a shitty way to take advantage of an opportunity, but I mean, that's just football. So it happens. And not one of the most memorable Super Bowls, but I think it was a lot of questions to be unanswered. But Tampa Bay ended up winning 31-9. And I'm sure, it had to feel, I don't know. I haven't really asked a lot of Patriot fans, like, how did it feel watching Tom Brady win a Super Bowl for Tampa Bay? I'm pretty sure the diehards, the true Patriot fans, they were kind of happy for Brady for everything that he did for New England. I don't know. it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just really weird. I mean, what were you going to do? And it's just what happens. I can't imagine, for Steeler Raider fans, watching Antonio Brown win a Super Bowl. It's like, what the hell? I wasn't too happy about it. Antonio Brown winning. Tom Brady, I was impressed. Like, dang, 7 Super Bowls. That's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. It could be 10, but he lost to Eli Manning twice and Nick Foles. But Antonio Brown, that one kind of stunk because it's like, screw it. It happens, but what are you going to do? And for Gronk, everybody, they all win the Super Bowl. That's great. Here comes free agency. And again, free agency this year kind of plummeted for everybody only due to the fact that the cap space went down tremendously due to everything that did happen. And really, it wasn't that bad, I wouldn't think, for Tampa Bay. They did lose Joe Haig to Pittsburgh, the tackle. Ryan Smith is now a Los Angeles Charger. Anthony Auclair, the tight end, is now in Houston, and Andrew Adams is now in Philadelphia. But as I did mention, they did re-sign a lot of their guys, and a lot of their guys were starters, and the starting 22 on offense and defense are back. So really think about it. It's not a bad offseason for Tampa Bay. They re-signed Shaquille Barrett to that 4-year contract. Ryan Suckup is back. Ndamukong Suh is back. Raheem Nunez-Roches, who played a pivotal role during the playoffs. The defensive lineman is back. Leonard Fournette is back. Ross Cockrell, the corner, is back. Steve McClendon, who was a great piece to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he's back. Kevin Minter, great depth as a linebacker. Ryan Griffin, the backup, and Josh Wells, the right tackle, is now back. But really, what it comes down to is, and then their only one big free agent signing was Giovanni Bernard. And now this is what I mean for poor Keyshawn over there, where now it's Leonard, Ronald Jones, him, and Giovanni. It's a four running back room, but I think they might only keep 3, depending on what they want to do, and we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be very hard for either Giovanni or Keyshawn Vaughn to kind of crack the roster, which would kind of suck. I think right now I would have to go with Keyshawn Vaughn. You spent the high 3rd rounder on him. I don't know. I didn't understand the signing of a Giovanni Bernard in this case, but we'll see. Maybe they will keep all 4. It all depends on what they want to do. So it's going to be interesting to see what Tampa Bay can do as a repeat, especially with everybody coming back, and especially in their division. Now with the uncertainty of the Saints, Drew Brees is gone. Carolina, how is Sam Darnold going to look? And then, you got Atlanta. What are they going to do? There's a lot of uncertainty in that division other than Tampa Bay, who are the reigning champs, who have a clear shot to finally even outperform what they did last year. So it's going to be interesting to see. And with a team like this, it was very hard to see what was left and kind of see what they could do in the first round. I expect them to stay at 32. If anything, they'll probably trade out of the first round, get some more picks down the road. But if in this case we cannot do trades, or I don't like to do trades because it's a lot of we don't know. It's a bunch of what ifs. Well, what about this and then? Like, how do we know? Like, these are all rumors. So let's just stick to 1 to 32. And now here we are, the last pick of the season. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all picks. It was very fun. And again, I want to thank all my guests that did join. I want to thank everybody that made all this possible. It was a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to, recap with you guys. And like I said, we're going to have 2 more shows, one for a final mock draft for this upcoming draft, and then one with my brother where we're going to do all the Raiders draft picks. And we'll explain more when my brother gets here in Nevada pretty soon. So, like I said, when you're Tampa Bay, you're the reigning champs. It's very hard to kind of see what you need. What are you going to do? But I think in this case, if you're Tampa Bay, and if everything were to fall exactly how this mock board fell, you just go by BPA and you do the best you can. So here we go. With the last pick in the first round of the 2021 NFL mock draft, the Super Bowl champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State. Look, yeah, it's understandable. Tom Brady's probably going to do this for another season or two. So why not take a chance on a guy who A, is healthy, B, can learn the system, and C, there's no pressure on him taking on the 32. There's a lot of players that were taken at 32 or the last pick, and it turns out to be fine. Teddy Bridgewater, he turned out okay. Lamar Jackson was picked 32 not that long ago. He turned out fine. All I'm saying is, if you're Tampa Bay, you got the depth on defense, you got the depth on offense. But God forbid, if Tom Brady goes down with an injury, do you trust Ryan Griffin to kind of come back and be that solid backup quarterback? I don't know. I really don't know. To me, if I'm 32 and if I'm Tampa Bay and Trey Lance is still there, at least you have a shot to at least know if your future is there or not with another quarterback. Because obviously, if you're Tampa Bay, you don't want to go back to, well, Tom Brady's gone. Well, that's it. Fun ride. All right, everybody, that's it. Nothing we can do now. If you're at least Tampa Bay, you at least want to try to get your future in the building as quickly as possible. You don't want to end up like Denver, who had Peyton Manning and they passed quarterback all those years. And it's like, well, they have to get a quarterback in the future because Tom Brady's not going to play forever. As much as he says he wants to, it's not going to happen. And so I think Trey Lance here in North Dakota State, he's 6'3", 221 pounds. Kind of a different football background in college than what you normally hear. He's a two-time FCS champion in 2018, 2019. Walter Payton Award, 2019. Jerry Rice Award for 2019. Mississippi Valley Football Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. So there's a lot of, first team all MVFC. So there's a lot of upside to him. And I know what we're thinking is, I get it. He only played one game last year, and that's understandable. It was a weird year for everybody. That still shouldn't hold him accountable to be why he shouldn't be at least given a backup opportunity on a good team like Tampa Bay. 2018, he only played 2 games. Only threw 12 yards, passing 82 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. In 2019, he got his first real starting gig. In 2019, he threw for 2,786 yards with 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And then he also threw for 1,100 rushing yards to go along with 14 rushing touchdowns. And then in one game in 2020, he threw 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception to go along with 143 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. So what I'm saying is, I think he's got talent. And it's not like your friend. I understand it is a first rounder for Tampa Bay and you kind of want to maybe trade out of it should he be there. But you at least got to give it a thought. Like, look, for me, what it is, he doesn't have to play right away because Tom Brady's going to be there. And Ryan Griffin is there and they have high hopes for Ryan Griffin. That's why they brought him back. However, don't you at least want to know that, hey, we kind of have somebody waiting in the wings to where he learned our system for 2 years. When Tom finally decides to go, whenever that is, 2-3 years from now, like, hey, Tom's gone, but we got Trey Lance. He's been chilling at the bench. He's been a good sport, and he's ready to go. The only negatives are, yes, he did come from a small school in North Dakota State. Yes, he did go to the same school as Carson Wentz, and it's like, well, it's going to be – the only thing I hate about that is you can't compare him because if that's the case, nobody would ever draft another linebacker or a defensive lineman from Alabama ever again because of Rolando McClain or, Sands, that big dude from Alabama, the defensive tackle, or any of those guys. Nobody would ever draft defensive players from Alabama again because there's some major bust. D. Milliner, Rolando McClain, but yet there they are getting drafted all the time. So that's one. And it's like, all right, well, what about quarterback situations? Well, if that's the case, then Kyler Murray would have never been chosen number one because Baker Mayfield was so terrible. See what I mean? It's very unfair to judge a player based on another performance of another player in professional league because they went to the same school. Very unfair. Because if that's the case, then every Texas Tech quarterback that ever comes out of the draft now is going to be taken number one overall because of Patrick Mahomes. Not going to happen. But you see what I mean? I think for me, if Tampa Bay's there, Trey Lance is there, you got to take him at 32. Because at least you have your future waiting in the bench for 2 years. He doesn't have to play right away. He doesn't even have to come in. He could just be chilling 2 years. At least you know your future's there, chilling for 2 years. And then when you build this team, when you keep building this team, what do you got to lose? If you're Tampa Bay, what do you got to lose? Before Tom Brady, what was Tampa Bay before Tom Brady? See what I mean? And who knows who's going to be a free agency in 2 years? All I'm saying is, if you're Tampa Bay and Trey Lance is there, I don't see why you don't go for this kid. So that's going to be my final selection here. I got Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State University. Yep. That's right. That is the final pick for my 2021 NFL mock draft. We are going to have another episode either tomorrow or Tuesday where I will do the final mock draft for everybody, picks 1 through 32. And I can't wait. A lot of things have changed, obviously, due to trades, due to just everything. But again, I do want to thank everybody that did join for this season of the mock drafts. It was a lot of fun. I want to thank all my guests that did join, from Big George, Mr. Giants fan, to my brother, Bill, Josh, and if I'm missing anybody, I want to thank everybody that did tune in. I want to thank everybody that commented. I want to thank everybody that liked the video. I want to thank everybody that subscribes to my, my page. It was a lot of fun, doing this, and I love doing this, and I love hearing your guys' input. And like I said, I'm excited for the draft. It is draft week. I'm excited to rock and roll with this. It is only 4 days away. I cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I just hope that everybody is excited as I am. I am very excited for this. I cannot wait for draft parties. I cannot wait for all of this. So, again, I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. We do have a couple more videos, and then we will recap Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday. So, like I said, it's going to be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing these videos with you almost every day. I know there was a couple of hiccups along the way, but hey, it happens. We got the better of it. We took care of it, and that is it. Hopefully soon, we'll get a little bit bigger and we'll get a little bit better, but that's, from you guys, please share, please like the videos. I always, the bigger we get, the more fun stuff we get to do. I do have a couple of ideas for the football season this year. And pretty much, we'll get more into that when football season rolls around. Everything's going to be smooth. Everything's going to be going good. And y'all just take care of yourselves out there. Y'all have fun this week. Have fun at the draft. I cannot wait. I'm excited for it. I know my brother is too. Everybody's excited for this. The answers are finally going to get – questions are finally going to get answered. Who's going to go where? What's going to happen? Who's trading up? Who's trading down? Who's going to create the drama? What's going on? So I'm excited for it. I'm ready to just get on through with this. And enough talk. Let's just get this through with it. So, again, I want to thank everybody that did tune in. We have a couple more videos, and then that's it. And then it'll be a recap, and then we'll take a little break, and then we'll just get ready for football season. So other than that, all of you have a wonderful day today. Enjoy your Sunday and enjoy your week. Take care, everybody.